Imagine this: a trade war that shook three major economies, cost billions, and changed global trade forever. Yes, we're talking about Donald Trump's tariffs. But here's the real question: did they work, or did everyone just lose? Let's dive into the data to find out. The Trump tariff playbook. As Trump again made as the president of the states, this topic is rooted in 2018. In 2018, Donald Trump launched an all-out trade war with tariffs targeting over $500 billion of goods. His targets? China, Mexico, and even Canada, America's closest allies. China faced tariffs targeting a massive $550 billion worth of goods, while Canada got hit with a 25% tariff on steel and 10% on aluminum. Mexico wasn't spared either, with auto parts and agricultural products taking the brunt of the impact. Trump called it America First. Critics called it economic chaos. The goal? To slash trade deficits and bring back American manufacturing. But did it work? Let's follow the money. How China took a $35 billion blow. China, the biggest target, faced tariffs on electronics, machinery, and household goods like furniture and shoes. The impact. 1 year into the trade war, China's exports to the US fell dramatically, from $539 billion in 2018 to $504 billion in 2019. That's a $35 billion drop. But it wasn't just exports. Factories closed, jobs were lost, and China retaliated with tariffs on US soybeans, pork, and cars. This retaliation left American farmers bleeding cash. US soybean exports to China were hit even harder, plummeting by 75% in 2018. For American farmers, that meant a staggering $16 billion in lost revenue. Mexico's $3 billion auto shock. Mexico wasn't spared either. Tariffs on auto parts and aluminum hit a $3 billion chunk of their economy. Why? Mexico sends 80% of its exports to the US, making them highly vulnerable. Mexico, heavily reliant on US trade, saw its auto exports fall by 4% during the tariff period. Meanwhile, aluminum prices surged by 11%, raising production costs for automakers like Ford and GM. And guess what? That cost didn't just hurt Mexico. US car prices went up too. So, if you bought a car after 2018, you probably paid more thanks to these tariffs. Canada's $10 billion steel standoff. Even Canada, America's neighbor and ally, faced harsh tariffs, 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum. The result? A $10 billion hit to Canadian industries. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau fired back with counter-tariffs on American goods like bourbon, orange juice, and ketchup. Canada wasn't spared the trade war's impact. Its steel industry lost 15,000 jobs during the standoff, and when Canada retaliated, US exporters faced an additional $12 billion in costs. Turns out, the trade war wasn't just between countries, it spilled into grocery stores and factories on both sides of the border. Global consequences, everyone paid the price. But here's the kicker: these tariffs didn't just hurt China, Mexico, and Canada. They also cost US consumers. The average household paid $1,300 more each year due to increased costs across the board. Businesses also reported a whopping $80 billion in higher import costs in 2019 alone. That's right. From electronics to groceries, prices soared. And globally, countries like China shifted focus to other partners, strengthening ties with Europe and Africa while weakening US trade influence. Winners, losers, and what's next? So, who won? Some US industries like steel and aluminum thrived, with production up 7%. But others, like agriculture and tech, took major hits. Globally, countries adapted and diversified, leaving the US isolated in some trade sectors. While US steel production rose by 7%, the industry's job growth lagged behind, increasing by just 1%. At the same time, China shifted focus, boosting its trade with Europe by 12% during the tariff years. Whether you call it a strategic move or an expensive gamble, one thing's clear: Trump's tariffs reshaped global trade in ways we still feel today. The big takeaway. So, what do you think? Did Trump's tariffs boost American industry, or were they a costly misstep? Let us know in the comments below. Follow us for more deep dives into global trade and economics. Like, share, and subscribe to explore how policies shape our world.